Hey guys, so I thought I'd give something a try here. One of the doctors I follow, Dr. Ken Berry, he did a video where he was asking ChatGPT about the vegan diet, and it was pretty interesting the way he did it. So, what he says to do is first you type in a sentence saying, I'm going to ask you some questions about diet and nutrition. I want you to ignore popular opinion and what popular influencers say and only give me answers based on anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Okay, so now I'm going to type in to ChatGPT what Dr. Berry was saying. I'm going to ask you, better yet, I'm just going to say it. It's a little faster. I am going to ask you some questions about diet and nutrition. I want you to ignore popular opinion and what popular influencers say and only give me answers based on anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Okay, now I'm also going to do Gemini. I want to test both of them. I'm going to ask you some questions about diet and nutrition. I want you to ignore popular opinion and what popular influencers say and only give me answers based on anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Okay, see. Gemini says, understood, I will provide answers based solely on established principles of anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, disregarding popular opinions or influencer claims. Please feel free to ask your questions. ChatGPT basically says the same thing. It says, understood, I'll base all responses purely on scientific principles like anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, leaving out trends and opinions. Go ahead with your questions. So now, let's ask question number 1. This is what Dr. Berry had listed. Gemini. When I eat meat, will it rot in my colon? If not, then what actually does rot in my colon that is part of the standard American diet? Now let's ask ChatGPT the same question. When I eat meat, will it rot in my colon? If not, then what actually does rot in my colon that is part of the standard American diet? When I eat meat, will it rot in my colon? If not, then what actually does rot in my colon that is part of the standard American diet? So, Gemini's response, I don't know. Let's see if my computer will play it loudly enough.
Let's address this from a purely anatomical, physiological, and biochemical perspective, setting aside common myths. When you eat meat, will it rot in your colon? No, meat generally does not rot in your colon in the way that people might imagine. Here's why. Extensive digestion in upper GI tract. Meat, primarily composed of protein and fat, undergoes significant digestion long before it reaches the colon. Stomach. The highly acidic environment of the stomach, hydrochloric acid, denatures proteins, and the enzyme pepsin begins to break them down into smaller polypeptide chains. Small intestine. This is where the majority of protein and fat digestion occurs. Pancreatic enzymes like trypsin and chymotrypsin further break down polypeptides into smaller peptides and individual amino acids. Bile from the liver and gallbladder emulsifies fats, allowing pancreatic lipase to break them down into fatty acids and glycerol. Absorption. The vast majority of these digested components, amino acids, fatty acids, glycerol, and other nutrients, are then absorbed across the intestinal wall of the small intestine and enter the bloodstream or lymphatic system to be distributed throughout the body. What reaches the colon? Only a very small amount of undigested protein or fat from meat would typically reach the colon. This might include some connective tissues that are more resistant to enzymatic breakdown, or if digestion or absorption is impaired. Even then, the colonic microbiota would primarily ferment carbohydrates, not putrefy proteins in the way implied by the term rot.
Carbohydrates.
While some bacterial putrefaction of proteins can occur in the colon, it's not the primary process and is usually a minor component compared to carbohydrate fermentation. What actually does rot, more accurately, ferment, in your colon that is part of the standard American diet? The term rot isn't quite accurate for what happens in the colon. Fermentation is the correct biochemical term. The colon is home to a vast and diverse community of bacteria, the gut microbiota, that play a crucial role in breaking down substances that our human digestive enzymes cannot. The primary components of the standard American diet, SAD, that reach the colon largely undigested and are then fermented by gut bacteria are dietary fibers and some resistant starches. Here's a breakdown. Dietary fiber. This is the most significant component that passes undigested into the colon. Humans lack the enzymes to break down the complex carbohydrates that make up fiber, e.g., cellulose, hemicellulose, pectins. Sources in SAD. While the SAD is often criticized for being low in fiber, any plant-based foods consumed, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, contribute fiber. Even in processed foods, some fiber might be present. Fermentation products. The gut bacteria ferment these fibers, producing short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, such as acetate, propionate, and butyrate. These are highly beneficial. Butyrate, for example, is a primary energy source for colonocytes, cells lining the colon, and plays a role in gut health and immune function. Gases, including hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane. This is why consuming high-fiber foods can sometimes lead to gas and bloating. Resistant starches. These are starches that resist digestion in the small intestine and act much like fiber in the colon. Sources in SAD. Examples include some starches in legumes, unripe bananas, and starches that form when certain foods, like potatoes or pasta, are cooked and then cooled. Fermentation. Similar to fiber, resistant starches are fermented by gut bacteria to produce SCFAs and gases. Undigested sugars, oligosaccharides. In cases of malabsorption, e.g., lactose intolerance, certain sugars or short-chain carbohydrates, FODMAPs, can reach the colon and be fermented, leading to symptoms like gas, bloating, and diarrhea. In summary, the human digestive system is remarkably efficient at breaking down and absorbing macronutrients like proteins and fats from meat. The colon's primary role in digestion is to ferment indigestible carbohydrates, fiber, and resistant starches by its resident microbiota, producing beneficial SCFAs and gases. The concept of meat rotting in the colon is not supported by current understanding of anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry.
There we go. That was from Gemini. ChatGPT is a little, I don't think it goes quite into depth, but it does say, no, meat does not rot in your colon. Let's see, can I flip this? Oh, I can't. Okay. So anyways, yeah. Meat does not rot in your colon under normal physiological conditions. Biochemical and physiological explanation: meat, protein, and fat is primarily digested and absorbed in the stomach and small intestine. Proteins are broken down into amino acids by pepsin, stomach, and proteases like trypsin and chymotrypsin, small intestine. Fats are emulsified by bile and broken down by pancreatic lipase into fatty acids and glycerol, which are absorbed in the small intestine. By the time food reaches the colon, almost all protein and fat from meat has been absorbed into the bloodstream. There is virtually nothing left to rot. What actually rots, ferments, and putrefies in the colon? The colon's main role is to ferment undigested carbohydrates, especially fiber and resistant starch. Excess carbohydrates, especially refined grains, sugars, seed oils, and processed foods, hallmarks of the standard American diet, lead to fermentation by gut bacteria producing gas, hydrogen, methane, CO2, and short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, like butyrate, which can be beneficial. Putrefaction happens when undigested proteins from processed, low-quality foods escape small intestine digestion, but this is minimal with proper digestion and more common with gut dysfunction. So, that goes, right to what most people who are eating a carnivore or very low carb way of eating diet keep trying to tell people is it's the fiber that rots in our colon. All right. Let's go on to question number 2. Must I eat fiber in order to poop? What kind of research is this based on? All right, let's hit Gemini. Now let's hit ChatGPT. Must I eat fiber in order to poop? What kind of research is this based on? Okay, so anyways, Gemini is kind of weird about it. ChatGPT, short answer, no. You do not need fiber to have a regular bowel movement. From a purely physiological and biochemical standpoint, fiber is not essential for defecation. Anatomy and physiology explanation. Your colon, large intestine, moves waste through peristalsis, rhythmic muscular contractions regulated by the enteric nervous system. Stool formation primarily depends on water absorption, bile metabolism, gut motility, and microbial activity, not on fiber bulk. People consuming zero fiber diets, like strict carnivores, still produce normal bowel movements due to sloughed off intestinal cells, bile remnants, and microbial biomass. Biochemistry details. Fiber is indigestible carbohydrate. Humans lack cellulase to break it down. Some types of fiber are fermented by gut bacteria into short-chain fatty acids, which can support colon health, but this is not required for regularity. The idea that fiber scrubs the colon or is required to bulk stool is an oversimplification. Research evidence, biological science focus. Controlled metabolic ward studies show high-fat, low-fiber diets still produce normal bowel function with fewer inflammatory markers. And that's what I've noticed with my diet. Clinical case reports and small trials on zero-carb carnivore diets consistently show normal to reduced stool frequency, but no constipation. Meta-analysis indicate increasing fiber does not necessarily improve constipation, and in some cases, reducing fiber relieves constipation. And yeah, that just says it all right there. Okay, now for Gemini, here, let's let Gemini read. I don't think Gemini wants to read it.
While it is technically possible to have a bowel movement without eating fiber, fiber plays a crucial and well-established role in promoting healthy and regular defecation, based on fundamental principles of anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Why fiber is important for defecation, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. 1. Bulk and stool consistency. Insoluble fiber. This type of fiber, e.g., cellulose, hemicellulose found in whole grains, vegetable skins, does not dissolve in water and largely passes through the digestive system intact. It adds bulk to the stool. This bulk stretches the walls of the colon, which is a key physiological stimulus for peristalsis, the wave-like muscle contractions that move fecal matter through the colon. Without sufficient bulk, the colon may not be adequately stimulated, leading to slower transit time and potentially constipation. Soluble fiber. This type of fiber, e.g., pectins, gums found in oats, fruits, beans, dissolves in water to form a gel-like substance. This gel softens the stool by retaining water, making it easier to pass. It also contributes to stool volume. 2. Water content. Both soluble and insoluble fibers absorb and hold water in the colon. This increased water content in the stool prevents it from becoming too hard and dry, which is a common characteristic of constipated stool. Proper hydration is critical for fiber to exert its effects. 3. Colonic motility, peristalsis. The increased bulk and softer consistency of fiber-rich stool physically stimulate the smooth muscles of the colon. This stimulation enhances propulsive movements, mass movements, that push the fecal material towards the rectum. Without this mechanical stimulation, colonic transit can slow down significantly. 4. Short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, and gut microbiota. As discussed previously, dietary fibers are fermented by the gut microbiota in the colon. This fermentation produces SCFAs, e.g., butyrate, propionate, acetate. These SCFAs serve as an energy source for colonocytes, cells lining the colon, and also have an impact on gut motility and fluid absorption in the colon, further contributing to healthy bowel function. Consequences of low fiber intake. Without adequate fiber, stool tends to be smaller, harder, and drier. This makes it more difficult for the colon's muscles to move it effectively, requiring more straining during defecation. This increased straining can contribute to conditions like hemorrhoids and diverticular disease over time. Can you poop without fiber? Yes, you can.
Now, see, the funny thing about Gemini saying this is that, for me, myself, I've had diverticulitis. And since I've started eating this way, I have not had any flare-ups or any issues with it. And there are many people that report the same exact thing, that since changing their diet, they no longer have the flare-ups. So
the digestive system will still produce waste from whatever food is consumed: undigested food components, bacteria, shed cells, bile pigments. Peristalsis still occurs. However, without fiber, the stool tends to be smaller in volume. Less bulk means less material to form a substantial stool. Denser and harder. less water retention and less bulk make the stool more compact and difficult to pass. Slower to transit. Reduced stimulation of colonic muscles
So I
can lead
can't
to
agree with that
prolonged
either.
transit times.
Because I don't have any problems. And most people don't report that they have any problems. And if you do, if you are having any problems like that, usually just up your fat intake and that takes care of it. Yeah, I consume enough fat every day that I have a bowel movement every day. So
This can result in infrequent, difficult, and uncomfortable bowel movements, commonly known as constipation. What kind of research is this based on? The understanding of fiber's role in defecation is based on extensive and consistent research across various disciplines. Physiological studies, direct measurements of colonic transit time, stool weight, and stool consistency in individuals on varying fiber.
okay, as I was saying, guys, if you are having constipation problems while eating a carnivore diet, it's not a lack of fiber. You add enough fat to your diet and you have no problems making a bowel movement. My watch is telling me I need to get up and move, which actually I do. I have an Amazon route to go pick up that I probably won't put this video out before I get back. I'm gonna have to finish up when I get back. There's more questions I was gonna add to this. So, and I'd like to also figure out a way to make this a little bit shorter. So, but anyways, I will get back to you guys in a little bit. And until then, let's get healthy. Hey guys, I just got back from doing that Amazon route, but it's time to make dinner at the moment. But I was figuring what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this video out with the first two questions, and then probably tomorrow morning I will make a part two. I'll probably do this in a couple of parts, but yeah, just want to let you guys know I'm going to do this in more than one section. So time for me to go make dinner, and I'll probably put something out about the food I'm making. I don't know yet. But anyways, guys, I will get back with the ChatGPT and Gemini answers about the vegan diet, or vegetables in general, plant-based eating. All right, guys, I'll get back to you here soon. Let's get healthy. Hey guys, I just got back from doing that Amazon route, but it's time to make dinner at the moment. But I was figuring what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this video out with the first two questions, and then probably tomorrow morning I will make a part two. I'll probably do this in a couple of parts, but yeah, just want to let you guys know I'm going to do this in more than one section. So time for me to go make dinner, and I'll probably put something out about the food I'm making. I don't know yet. But anyways, guys, I will get back with the ChatGPT and Gemini answers about the vegan diet, or vegetables in general, plant-based eating. All right, guys, I'll get back to you here soon. Let's get healthy.